Uh-oh. Here she comes.
Here I
You can sit right
Okay, how many of y'all have watched my episode Mirror in the Building? Okay, that's fine. Okay. I cannot say enough how
That was
much.
so fun, by the way. That was my favorite interview that I've ever done. It was.
I cannot say enough how much I love Mirror. When I say nothing about Glamaholic lifestyle does not feel like me, between the authenticity, the vision that you have for this company, and seeing how it's grown 14 years later is something so impressive and not to be taken for granted.
Thank you so much.
So this is the Dare to Be Female Conference, and we want to talk about daring. You started Glamaholic Lifestyle in a recession. You came from nothing. What gave you the bravery to say, I'm going to start selling purses and it's going to be successful?
Well, you have to look at it, Jen. Like, if you already at zero, I couldn't go nowhere else but up, right? So starting off doing my blog, like you said, I come from nothing. I had nothing when I started the blog. I don't know what it was or why God gave me the vision to do bags, but I have a feeling that it could have been soap. It could have been lotion. It could have been whatever it was. One thing about me, right, y'all know I'm gonna sell y'all something, right? Thank God it was bags, you know. Of course, it was a fashion blog. I had the connection to that. And 14 years later, everyone just fell in love with it. But just the vision to keep going, I knew what I wanted out of my life. I knew I wanted to live like a Morley Simmons, baby. I was gonna be ghetto fabulous. I was gonna be rich. I was gonna be all of those things. And I knew I had to have the ethic, the work ethic, and the drive to get there. Nobody was gonna give it to me. I've never been a girl that wants to be saved. So when it comes to those 50-50 conversations and all of those things, I'm not that girl. I knew I had to bust my ass to get to where I wanted to be.
So here we are 14 years later. You don't get to the space that you are without vision and consistency. What are some of the values that you had when you started Glamaholic Lifestyle that you still have today and that are the foundations of your business?
I think I work so much because I genuinely love what I do. So when people are like, take a break, take a vacation, Mia, you worked hard enough. And I'm like, no, I really like doing this. You know, so the fact that from day one, I had a ton of vision. From the day you met me, you always said you don't know how you come across me, the blog, Twitter, somewhere. From the day you met me, has my work ethic changed? I was a walking billboard when it came to Glamaholic back then when nobody was listening, when I was getting laughed at, when it was just me and Jen carrying this bag and wearing these t-shirts, right? And now 14 years later, I'm still that girl. I still have a vision of where I want to be. As successful as I am today, this is just the beginning. This is literally just the start. So the 10-year head start, now I'm just now getting started. The consistency. I always tell people I might have slowed down, but I never stopped. Pregnancy, heartbreak, broke, not knowing, unsure of myself, wanting to give up. I may have slowed down, but I never stopped.
Baby, you be working. Again, you said you slowed down, but you never stopped. In those instances where you slow down, because I feel like a lot of women in business particularly feel like we don't have the ability to step back, that we can't. When you slowed down, what are some of the things that you did to help you come back bigger and better?
Anytime I slowed down, I was strategically working on my game plan. I was literally trying to figure out the next step. It might not, like I said, I wasn't going full force, but I wasn't stopping. But I was trying to figure, even right now, Glamaholic can be as big and as amazing as it is. I'm still trying. Jen is in my close friend, so she knows how I be strategically thinking about things behind the scenes. Even to this day, I'm still trying to figure it out. So when it comes to being consistent and slowing down, I made sure that that was the time that I utilized that time correctly. Another thing was maybe my business may not have been doing what it is now. In those times, I was building my community. So even when I didn't have all of these things to sell you or all of these things to show you, I had a hell of a lot of engagement. I would sit and talk to y'all until the cows came home. Whether it's through live, whether it's through comments, I still right now to this day, I go through my comments and reply to as many people as I can. That's something that I really do, is to try to grow that engagement, even when there's times where I'm not too sure of what I'm doing next. I'm gonna make y'all fall in love with me even more. Y'all might think I'm working on like this amazing thing. I'm really trying to figure it out, and I'm gonna talk to you the whole way.
Speaking of engagement, this is a question that I asked one of the panels earlier, but I think it's a good one to ask you. So you've been in Forbes twice. Your business is very, very successful. 3 times. I'm sorry, man, my bad. We have been in Forbes 3 times. In your early days, you showed us screenshots of how many sales you got, how much money you were making. You are very, very transparent with eyes on you, of course. Some people gonna hate a little bit. How do you deal with that? And how do you navigate it in a way that you don't feel guilty or ashamed about the success that you've attained?
So I'm in therapy now. So I've learned a lot of tools, but one thing you got to know, and I've been knowing this before therapy, most people don't like themselves. So why would they like me? I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna get up every day. I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna speak how I speak, talk how I talk. In every room that I walk in, I'm gonna be me. A lot of people don't know how to do that. And that's an envious thing to have, where you can show up and be yourself no matter what. A lot of people don't know how to do that. So I'm all of these things, and this person is at home internalizing what I'm doing with my life. I have no control. You gotta take that to God. I have no control over that. And another thing that my son is 22, so 23 years ago, the day before I started school, I went to 12th grade pregnant. I was 6 months pregnant when I started 12th grade. And I sat in the kitchen and my big mom told me, she said, I'm crying. She said, you don't want to go to school, do you? I said, no, they gonna talk about me. They gonna laugh at me. And she said, well, they talked about Jesus. What you think they gonna do to you? And I said, you know what? You're right. Fuck them. Okay. Knowing that when these people are dragging you or talking about you or saying negative things about you, do you know it's a whole list of things that you can say about them? The only perfect person or the perfect being that I know is God. We have no right to sit up and talk about the next person. We got a whole list of dirty laundry that somebody can say about us. So who are you to say anything about me when I can look at you and say what I got to say about you? I'm not that type of person, because when people do that to me, I like to love on people like that. Because a lot of people didn't grow up in the household that I'm raising my children in. Some people never got a hug. Nope. Some people never heard I love you. Some people never heard, Mia, you can do whatever you want to do. And that I feel sorry for them. So a lot of times when I get that, y'all been following me for a long time. A lot of times when people do that, they are acting out. And when I respond, the response is, oh my God, man, you talking to me? So when it's like that, it's like, oh, you come here, baby. Let me give you a hug. It's okay, sweetheart.
The M in me stand for money. That's my favorite thing to say. So we're gonna get into the money, okay? Bootstrapping a business is very, very hard. We know, like we said before, you started from zero. From someone who wants to start a product-based business who has nothing, what advice would you give them to be able to get their business off the ground?
Number one, I feel like a lot of people get focused on the product and the service. Yes, it's good for you to have that going, but a lot of times you're focused on that, but you don't have the community in which you're going to sell that to. So you have to find the balance of, okay, I'm creating the amazing brand or the amazing product or service, but you also have to create the audience. So a lot of times people do it backwards. I built the community first, then I brought in the product. A lot of people focus on getting that product going, and then they're like, nobody's buying it. Who were you talking to? A lot of people don't know who they're talking to. I knew exactly who I was talking to.
And who was you talking to?
Me. The girl that was just like me. The girl who didn't have much. The girl who wanted to take her nothing and turn it into something. The girl who wanted to remix her hair and couldn't afford to, go buy new bundles. The girl who could only afford to shop at Forever 21, but I made it look like a Kim Kardashian outfit. I knew who I was talking to, so it was very easy for me to sell to her. Another thing when it comes to not having money, I wish that I started my brand in 2023, 24, because all the avenues that people have today to get money, I am jealous. Do you know what I had to go through to get here? I always tell people, like, you couldn't imagine. You can walk a mile off in my forces. Like, the stuff that I had to go through to get here and figure things out, pre-orders. You guys have that so easy. Back then, 14 years ago, it was it wasn't too hard for me. But it could have been hard to just pull up on somebody and ask for $50 and they didn't know if I was bringing that bag back or not. So the avenues that majority of you guys have to this day, a lot of people are not utilizing them. I would definitely bank on building the community. One thing about supporting social media, everybody likes to see the underdog win. And that goes off into what Tyler was saying about, you have enough followers, I don't have to come shop with you, you have enough people shopping with you. But still, the connection to that story, there are people who will buy anything that I sell because they are connected to my story. So when it comes to now, in this day and age with social media, I always tell people you have to connect. Make that connection to your audience. From there, it's going to be pretty much a lot easier. Not easy, but a lot easier for you to do what it is that you're doing with your service or your product.
Can you give some tips on how to build a community? I think Elle mentioned that you are an expert community builder. Like, if someone wants to build their social media community from scratch, how can they do it?
Just be yourself. It was not a thing. I was not an influencer. That was not what I was called 14 years ago. I was just being me array. And a lot of times when you just show up as yourself, that is the connection that people are looking for. There is a single mom that had a son at 17 just like me. There is a woman who can't afford to buy a Chanel bag that can only afford to buy a $65 bucket bag. I could go on and on. The community right now, even with Risa Tisa, she had me glued for 3 days. I was waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning, putting my headphones on so I didn't wake my man up because I connected to the story. And from here, Risa Tisa is my homie. That's my girl.
Who else done dated a man who didn't know who he was?
Raise your hand. So the community now, it gets built on its own, and it really comes from just you being there. What do you have to offer? Everybody has something to offer the world. I follow women who love to clean like me. I just want to know what kind of cleaning supplies does she use for her floors. There is a connection that you can make with each and every person. It could be food. I want to go to every restaurant that she say is popping in Detroit because I like to eat. That's the community right now. Like I said, it's much easier to do it now, but when it comes to how do I engage, how do I connect to my audience? And that's just engagement. And you can do that without giving too much of yourself, just like Lex said. I didn't intentionally do what I did, but I like my privacy. I'm a Sagittarius. I don't want you knowing nothing about me. What's that mean? I hate that y'all even know my name. But people would think that about me because I'm so open, but I guess I created the art of sharing enough without sharing too much. And as somebody who is behind the scenes with me and my close friends, my private life is way more lit than the life that
My next question is about, again, money, because you like to talk about money, very transparent about money.
I do.
Investments. How critical is it for you to invest your money for yourself and your business? And what are some of the ways that you do that so we can all take note, because we want to be in Forbes too.
You are so funny. I am very passionate about money, but I'm passionate about money management a lot more than I am about just making it. Because one thing about it, you can make all the money, and next thing you know, we've seen it time after time, the money is gone. One thing that I made sure to do was I invested in my business before I invested in myself. I will literally pay my taxes and act like I am broke. I gotta figure out how to go get some more money because I did the responsible. I took care of my responsibilities first. When it comes to investing, for the everyday person, I really feel like you have to learn money management first. There's no way you can skip and go straight to investing and you don't even know what this person is talking about. I've sat at the table with my financial advisor like in the first year and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, like I knew what he was talking about, and then I was like, Jesse, can you break that down for me? You are speaking Spanish to me right now. And I'm the type of person, which is why I created How to Lose $50 a Month, is when it comes to money, you have to literally talk to me like I'm in kindergarten. Like, I have to know how to bite off exactly what I can chew before I go to the next step. And I feel like that's what a lot of people miss. NBA players, NFL players, they just trust somebody with their money, or rappers or whoever, trust their money with somebody without understanding it themselves. So when it comes to investing, I would say, first of all, Google is your best friend, right? There's so many different ways to invest. You have to figure out what works best for you because once upon a time on social media, it was real estate. And I said, okay, I like real estate and I'm gonna run out and I bought these properties and I got these properties and I was like, I don't like this. This too much. But if you let somebody else tell them real estate is the way to go, you have to figure out what you are comfortable with doing. You can't just always follow behind what everybody else is doing because I'm hoping now that I can learn it on the scale that I want to learn it on, that I fall in love with real estate in a different capacity. But for everybody else, Google, taking classes, asking somebody. My friends who are small business owners, Fancy Homebody, and amongst others, now that I've learned how to invest, now, because my lead taught me.
I taught you. If you do not know who Myleik Teal is, do your Googles.
Myleik taught me, just from me asking her questions. You know, she is someone that was a distant, like my mentor, but now I can honestly call her my mentor. And when I have those financial questions, I can pick up the phone and call her. But definitely just guidance. I don't go off and say, use this app, use that. You have to find out what works best for you and what you're comfortable with doing with your money. But first, you have to get educated on money. You have to know how money works. There's too many people who do not, because I was one of them who just don't know how money works.
So you just mentioned that you have a financial advisor. As your business grows, you realize you cannot do everything yourself. So I know you probably got a financial advisor, an accountant, a lawyer. How many different people do you employ, and at what step in your business did you start realizing, I need to hire help?
How many people do I employ? Maybe about 20.
Ooh.
Maybe.
Big boss.
Stop, Jen. How did I know? First of all, I knew when it came to taxes, I didn't want to play with the I, R, or the S. So the accountant was the first thing. Going into things such as leases and contracts and working with so many different people, I knew I had to get a lawyer. You think you can read over something and understand it? Maybe you cannot. Financial advisor, what do I do with all of this money? One thing,
because that's a lot of it.
Jen. One thing about it is, you guys are thinking, I'm literally forced into something. I had boxes in my home, before I went out and got a warehouse. So when the opportunity presented itself where I was like, no, I just don't know, let me hire that person. And sometimes it's like, of course, it was once upon a time I couldn't afford an accountant. I couldn't afford a lawyer and all these different things. There are workarounds. There are people who will volunteer their services to you. There are courses and classes and things that you can do to help yourself get to where you have to be safe without breaking the bank.
Speaking of breaking the bank, let's talk about this. Glamaholic lifestyle started as one tote. You just released your biggest collection. How many pieces is in that collection, Mia?
80 something. I can't.
Almost 90 pieces. Not including what she had before. What told you it's time to scale?
Scaling for me that's one thing I just wasn't prepared for. So it started with the Glamaholic shopping experience that day that I went live, and it blew up from there. So you guys literally saw me scale month after month after month. And now to the point where, okay, I'm doing amazing. I'm doing phenomenal. And I'm still like, okay, this is cool. How do I get to the next level? And that's when I created this collection. I did this because I wanted to test some things out, see if my brain could pull it off once again, and it did. But definitely just making sure that you can handle it. That was one thing which people felt that I was always sold out. That wasn't on purpose. Sold out means I'm missing money, okay? So that wasn't on purpose, but definitely now I've learned to scale at the capacity in which I can handle it. Because sometimes we'll ask for something, we'll pray for something, and we're not prepared for it. And I think we saw that for Black Friday. I was not prepared to get 27,000 orders in a weekend. I was not. And I beat myself up. As successful as that was, I beat myself up about it because I was not prepared. Yesterday, I was prepared.
We can tell. When you was, no, I kid you not, when you was posted, I was watching people order 10 items at a time. I said, hey, I don't know what they do, but I want to get like that. But I'm like, to have something be so popular, and it was something that you was uncertain about. I know that's a very, very good feeling.
Yeah, I was so nervous I couldn't even sleep. Just the thought. I went through so much with this collection, this drive, and for it to turn out and be a success. I'm very proud of myself.
When you say it's a success, you know that just dropped yesterday. How you know it's a success?
You are crazy. Well, yesterday we got about 8,000 orders, so
one day. On top of your biggest drop yet, you did something very big this week as well. And what was that?
I moved into my new house.
Your new house. It's not just a new house, Mia. You being so humble. Mia built this house from the ground up. Every single detail in this home was handpicked by her. You have showed us your childhood home over and over again. For someone who comes from such humble beginnings, to be able to build your dream home with your own dream, what does that feel like?
Girl, it's crazy. The other day I woke up and thought I was like out of town somewhere. I was like, where the hell am I? It's definitely, even when my family came over, everybody was crying. I was raised, I'm from Dexter and Collinwood. And even after that, we moved to Burr Road and Fickle, and there was 10 of us in one house. And I said this to my close friends the other day, like I can fit my grandma's house in my master's suite. So for my family to walk in and see what I built, and I didn't build it for me. There are things in my home that I added, like I have an ice maker for my sister. I have an elevator for my mother. I have a bunk bed for my nephew. I am so loyal to my family. I am so dedicated to my family. And never once in this 14 years did anybody say, girl, why are you doing that? You should go get a job. Never once. Every single member of my family, those 10 family members that are still here, everybody worked at the warehouse. Everybody has a job. Everybody has 401k. Everybody has health insurance. Everybody has a charter drive. Everybody has a nice home to live in. Because for me, the 10 of us living in that house, that's what formed me into being this. You know how rappers are always like, yeah, go back and get my family out the hood. Like, yeah, me too. Like, I had that vision too, and I did it. Yeah.
You did it. Before I open the floor up to questions from the audience, Mia, someone who has a dream or a goal that they are uncertain about, they don't know if they want to push play on, they are scared to be laughed at, they don't know if it's going to be successful. What do you want to tell those people right now?
I know it's gonna sound cliche, but it is just do it. imagine I laughed, guess what? I laughed all the way to the bank. Who's laughing now? Let's laugh together. But when it comes to that, you have to be so dedicated and so focused on what it is that you want to accomplish. I do not live my life for anybody but myself. There are visions and dreams and things in my head that I've never verbally expressed to a soul that I just want to accomplish for me. You have to ask yourself, who are you doing this for? And I did it and didn't care if I had an audience. If you go back 13 years on Instagram, just because that's the Rolodex that you could use, I was talking just as crazy and just as confident as I do today with 3 likes and 0 comments. I didn't care. I was talking to myself. I was saying those things for me. You guys thought I was waking up and trying to motivate y'all. I was motivating me. It just so happened that it worked for everybody, right? But you have to be so dedicated to what it is that you want out of this life. You only get one. Nobody, they can laugh at you all they want. Guess what? Like I said, who's laughing now? It's one thing, I gotta think about bullies. I cannot stand me a bully. So when it comes to those social media comments or naysayers or people who don't encourage you and your family, you have to close your ears to that. I had tunnel vision. The day I committed to doing this, I ain't stopped not nan days since I started. So you have to be driven. You have to stay consistent. You have to be committed.
Thank you so much, Jenn. I will be taking 3 questions from the audience, so make it really, really good. Who has a question? All right, come up. You, sparkly Jackie. Anybody else? Blue dress. Ooh, okay, I'll get 4. You right here in the front and you, oh, Diva, okay, over here. All right, everybody, come this way in front of me. Hi, Ria. Hi.
My name is Laura Green, and I am a fashion designer. Okay, so your story pretty much is my story. I come from a family that was just all living together, things like that. And as a little girl, I always knew I was different, and I knew that my purpose was bigger than just working my life away for 4 years for anybody else. So as a 6-year-old, I would go around and cut up clothes and just do stuff. So I made myself a fashion designer. So I made custom denim brands. So my question to you, I've always looked up to you, okay?
Thank you.
I'm a little emotional because this is like a dream come true right now.
Oh,
My question to you, like, are you open to being a mentor to like entrepreneurs? Like,
but y'all be thinking y'all slick. Trying to ask me face to face.
this is my opportunity because I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get to this woman. God make it possible for me to ask her this question. I was scrolling Instagram and came across this Dare to Be female. It was just a poster with "You Want It," and I said, okay, this is the sign. Thank you, God. This is the sign I asked for. So I said, when I get here, this is what I'm asking.
It's okay.
Listen, and then the other woman that was up here saying, we go into rooms and we're humble and we're quiet. And closed mouths don't get fed.
I know that's right.
Right? God said you have not, but you ask not, right? So I'm here asking.
Yeah, amen to all of that.
I just had to ask you, are you open to that? Like being a mentor?
The thing that people don't understand for me, if it's not genuine, I can't do it.
Exactly.
The time that when I wake up, like when my feet hit the ground, I am going like the Energizer Bunny all day long. If my cup is barely full enough to like feel myself, I can't give to somebody else. That's number 1. Number 2, I feel like I mentor very well through social media. I feel like a lot of times people want me to specifically say things that are catered to their business or their brand versus taking what they see me talk about and apply it. Even before my niece knew my name, the tips and the advice that she gave, I took it and I applied it to my life and my brand. So a lot of times when I'm dropping nuggets, I'm expecting you guys to take it and apply it to you. I would not sit up here and lie and say I have time to be a mentor because I don't.
I got you.
But I can definitely say, there we go. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
One thing that I do with my subscriptions, one thing that I do consistently, even when I'm answering some questions, is I give the honest to God truth. But I would not sit up here and say that I would have time to be somebody's mentor with 2 kids, 3 sometimes, if you include my man. I got a dog. I got a girl. I could just run down the whole list. I wouldn't even want to do that to you. But I love you. I love you so much.
Can I just add something to encourage you from what she's sharing her heart is that when she gets up out of that floor in the morning, her focus for the last 14 years is how she's going to do this because there was no one there to do it. That is the big piece of the puzzle right there. If you can dedicate yourself to that vision that you have, when other people are going to laugh at you, there's no one there to encourage you, to help you, and you may be doing that thing all by yourself. But if you keep on pressing, and you will get there, I guarantee you.
Amen, auntie, amen. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Auntie, preach that big word.
Last year, I was able to pay my taxes, or paid up this year, for the little bit that I started with to where I'm at now. And you can't tell me nothing.
Hello, Mia. So I want to give you your flowers first and then ask the question because I want to respect your boundaries. You know, I'm in close friends. I know how you are about your boundaries. Because I'm like, I want a picture in the hug, but I'm like, I need to talk to her first because I know how she is about her boundaries, darling. So I wanted to give you your flowers. The first thing is the way that you've been able to build community. I've been able to find friends through being a Glamaholic. I started following Jen, Alana, Keisha, Dee, all of these have became my friends from Glamaholic. I'm from Detroit, but I live in St. Louis. Every time you have a pop-up, I drive to Detroit and come get stuff and make reels. I go out of town a lot, and every time I have on a Glamaholic piece and I see a girl, I'm like, hey, Glamaholic! And I've actually been able to make more friends in different states because we're like, hey, Glamaholic, where did you follow? Did you send me stuff? Girl, are you on those friends? Girl, for real? And it's actually been fun to be able to have a community. I've been following you since it was Sesame Street Santana, so that's a long time ago. But I just appreciate the fact that you have been real and you let us have it when people overstep their boundaries. And you also, I remember I just got rid of my breast cancer and thank you. And 2 months, I literally was still bleeding, had my stitches. I sent you a message and was like, Mia, here's a picture of me in the hospital. I have my Glamaholic bag with me. And you were like, girl, keep going. And I was like literally in the hospital crying and you had no idea because I was going through my lowest point. I thought that breast cancer was going to kill me. And I was literally talking to my friend in my head about something I was going through at the time, and you were just like, girl, keep going. And I'm like, are you gonna do something? You like, stay tuned, and then next thing I know, it's a fanny pack. Because you won't never tell no secrets, honey. But I literally, just like I said, wanted to say thank you because I think that you receive so much negativity for your boundaries, so much negativity for other things. But as a Black woman, I respect you so much. As a woman who's trying to figure this out, I'm now an empty nester and I don't even know what to do with myself. I'm able to come and go as I please, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And now I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, well, what will me do? Let me go on this close friends and see what she's talking about. But my question is, after giving you your flowers, is what's next for Mia and how can we support you and your boundaries?
Well, first I want to touch on the boundaries. Everybody should have boundaries.
I know it. But I learned that because as a Black woman, I didn't have boundaries. So now I'm like, girl, whatever. And not just because of you, but Black women are givers. We don't know how to be like, no. We like, yeah. So I appreciate your
Absolutely, and you should. It's only negative when people aren't getting what they want. But people have to understand, I don't work for you. You understand? I created Glamaholic. I create products, but I don't work for anyone but myself. So that's when that comes into play. When it's like, why she always talking to people like that? Because girl, this is my shit. I'm selling on, not yours. What's next for me? After building Glamaholic for 14 years, I think I'm gonna take a step back and now build the Mia Ray brand. So people fell in love with Mia Ray first, then the bags came. So now when I'm talking about me being the influencer that I was, people are like, what? Influencer? The other day somebody commented was like, okay, influencer. And I was like, okay. They weren't here, you know, so.
That's how you started.
I think I'm gonna take a step from behind the bags and focus on Mia Ray a bit more. I do have a personal brand. There are other things that I wanna do, especially with just purchasing the home.
Congrats, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Just doing those things that I've always wanted to do that just didn't have anything to do with a bag or with a product, but just focusing on getting the story out or what it looks like to motivating people more in a more maybe strategic way, because it's always been genuine. A lot of people capitalize off of their motivation and inspiration, and I have never made a dollar off of it. So just making sure that I'm focusing on my personal brand a bit more. And you can just support me by just how you've always done.
Yeah.
We've always been all about our needs.
Thank
I'm ready to go
you.
to the last thank you. So like, ask your question. Thank you.
I'm make my answers quicker too, I'm sorry.
Hi, I'm Reese. I just first want to give a shout out to my cousin who did this backdrop. I did not know she was doing this, so when I came and saw her, I want to give her flowers to here at Aldale Orchard. So mine is not really a question, but it's more so, could you kind of walk people through that spiritual part of getting to becoming Mia Ray? A lot of people think it's just, oh, you come up with all these ideas, you talked about the vision. Nobody really understands that God gave you that.
You sure
And
did.
you moved in and you were obedient. And can you just kind of talk
Absolutely.
on that a little bit?
When I started this way back, I could say even 15 years for the blog, I quit my job, and people like to say I stepped out on faith, but I actually did. I did not know what the next thing that I was going to do, and every time I put that foot out, there was a step there waiting for me. So when it comes to actually believing in yourself and actually praying and actually believing, I remember a time I was talking to somebody and I was like, well, God promised me X, Y, and Z. And he said, like, you said that, like, you really believe it? I said, I do. You can't tell me that the things, I think I just shared this last week, the things that I spoke of, there are things that I have written that are now taking place in my life. So it's about when you write it and make it plain, you have to actually believe it. Write the vision, make it plain, you have to actually believe it. A lot of times people don't even believe in themselves. So when God saw, like, okay, I put that in you, and you really gonna go for it, watch this. Because there's so many other eyes that are opening to what God did to my life that are now believers, who are now making those crazy requests. I got, Kim, like I always say, that's called crazy faith. You have to be so crazy enough to believe that this stuff will happen for you, and it actually did. So I like to use my platform to showcase the things that God has done in my life, and it's working. Thank you.
And I kind of experienced that a little bit, and so I just wanted you to kind of share with everybody else that God is the reason. And
I always share that.
Yes, and I love that about you. So that was my question.
Thank you so much.
Habakkuk said to write that vision out, and it'll be like a billboard, so those that see will run and tell others about it. And so because they didn't catch on, just like when Noah was getting ready for the flood, and the flood came, and then they wanted to believe.
Yeah.
But she believed it, she received it, and she's doing it.
I love her. Can I take her with me?
Hi, Mia. Hi. My name is Rose. I own a production company here in Detroit. It's called Collections. We produce festivals, concerts, and fashion shows. And I'm getting to the point in my career where we're kind of receiving some type of buzz, but we're also in that field of kind of getting played with a lot. Have you ever been in that
Baby.
Okay.
How many times y'all see me on the news? Once or twice, maybe once. You talk about I built this. I've never been in a magazine on TV or people don't know my name. I have a blue check, all that fancy stuff. I was focused on the vision because you want to know who I was focused on? My Glamaholics. I was not focused on the press, the popular stuff, the being in everybody's face, being on every podcast. Jen opened it with her interview. Yeah, I feel very special because you don't do interviews. I don't. I was so focused on my vision, the product, and talking to my customers. I didn't care about people checking for me. I didn't care about somebody coming to see me. And they always making a list of the top 10 handbags, and they don't never mention you. So that makes me know I care. No, I do not care. I am focused on what it is that I'm trying to present to the world and put it out there. So number one, people always play in your face. That's never gonna stop. But you have to be focused on building what it is that you want to build the way you want to build it. They're going to come see you. If you build it, they will come. And that's exactly what they did.
And see, the reason she was saying,
Keep going.
because she didn't let all that confusion come in. Because that confusion come in to get you off your focus. So when you build it, so you see, you can't tell everybody what you're doing.
That's right.
You got to press in and do what you got to do.
That's right.
Yeah, then you go.
Now that's how you close it out. We made that full circle. Okay?
Follow-up question. How can we work together?
Go ahead. Can we work together?
How can we work together?
What you do? You said you do pop-up shops?
Well, it's an event production company, so we specialize in fashion curated events. So we do festivals, concerts, showcases. We actually just did an event this Sunday here at the Garden Theater.
Okay. Oh, I guess I'm coming up. You never know. Girl, you just never know.
Thank you.
Mia, per usual, thank you so much. I don't have to keep saying how much I love her. This is going to be my last time on this stage, so thank you all for allowing me to be your moderator for today. If you want to follow me or watch my show, it is Ask Jenn on Instagram and Ask Jenn on YouTube. And I hope to see you all stick around. Mia will be here. I know some of you were not able to ask her questions. She'll be here for a little bit, so feel free to come up to her. She's nice. Everybody was talking about Bobby. I'm like, you're nice. I like her. So thank you so much.
Thank y'all.